Irish Sea Dollies here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming the video comparing the Götz doll between an American Girl doll. This is kind of leading on from my history of American Girl face molds video, so if you guys haven't seen that, you should probably go check that out. I never really got to thank you guys for 300 subscribers, and we're now at 350, which is just insane. I also hit 1000 on Instagram, and it's been pretty crazy, so thank you guys so much. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is their feet. I was always kind of surprised by how similar their feet are. The American Girl shoes fit Liliane absolutely perfectly, and I only have one pair of Götz doll shoes, but they fit the American Girls absolutely perfectly also. You can see they both have very kind of square shapes to their feet in comparison to other dolls like our generation. They have practically identical toenails, like wrinkles on the toes. They basically have the exact same feet, which is really interesting. Okay, sorry, we had a quick location change because I think it'll be a lot easier to film here, get better angles for you guys. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is their legs. When it comes to the legs, we have a few more noticeable differences. So for sure, Liliana's legs are a lot kind of wider around the upper thigh area. Also on the inner thigh area, I would say, Caroline seems to just have a lot more skinnier legs, and then the indent is a lot more prominent when it gets up to her cloth torso. As for their knees are very similar. It's kind of almost identical. The next thing I want to talk about is their cloth bodies. So obviously the first very noticeable difference is that Liliana's is a lot darker, more of a tanned colour, while Caroline's is a paler pinky colour. There's also the difference in shape. Caroline has broader shoulders while Liliana has kind of narrow shoulders. Caroline has a body tag, Liliana does not. And also Liliana has a much slimmer body and her hips don't come out that much wider, while Caroline's is slightly wider in the waist and comes out wider again around the hips. If we look at these two dolls from the side, we can also see quite a big difference. As you can see, Caroline's arm is much more middled in her body, while Liliana has a much larger back than her front. She also seems to have a slightly rounder bum, while Caroline's a bit smoother and flush in. I would say body-wise, I probably prefer the American Girl doll's shape, but they are really not all dissimilar. So Caroline does have neck strings. My Caroline is from 2013. Liliana actually does not have neck strings, and I got her in 2011. So now we're going to be looking at arms. As we can see, Caroline's is a little bit skinnier than Liliana's. Other than that, they're quite similar in shape. I would just say that Liliana's is almost just a larger version of Caroline's. They're around the same length. They're bent kind of the same way, and the shape overall is quite similar, apart from Caroline's being slightly skinnier. As we can see here, the hands are almost absolutely identical. I would also say that Liliana's is slightly bigger than Caroline's, but they have the same kind of thumb position, they have the same details on the hands, same nails, same little wrinkles, same fingers stuck together, just Liliana's are slightly wider. That is my only real difference here. If we look at the inside of the hand, please excuse the burn mark on Liliana's thumb. You can see that yes, they are almost exactly the same. Liliana's is just slightly bigger again, and Caroline has a more prominent indent on her palm. Other than that, they're very similar, same shaping, once again, same wrinkles, seemingly the same molding. Okay, so there is essentially no way for me to get them both looking at the camera at the same time. It's because Liliana has quite a tilt to her head, which makes it very difficult. Now I'm going to be comparing their faces. So the first obvious difference is their skin tone, I would say. Bar eye colour and hair colour and all that. At Caroline's time of release, she was the lightest skin tone that American Girl offered. And I don't know about Liliana, but I assume her to be the same, that she would also be the lightest skin tone. You can see that Caroline is a lot more tanned than Liliana. Now, what I would take into consideration is, from what I have seen, people from the US tend to be a lot more tanned than some of us Europeans because not all of Europe gets a lot of sun. So Liliana would definitely be more accurate to the German skin tone in general, I would say. Liliana has a lot more of a pinkish tone to her skin, while Caroline is a lot more yellow undertone. Now, if we look at their faces are not similar, I would not think. Their face shape, at least. So, Liliana has a much bigger forehead than Caroline does. Caroline has feathered eyebrows, and Liliana's lined eyebrows are quite similar to the American Girl lined eyebrows, but they are slightly thinner, I have noticed. Next thing, we'll look at the mouths. I actually never really have compared them this closely, so I'm kind of surprised. Liliana has her mouth closed, not showing any teeth, whereas Caroline does. Caroline has much rounder face, and her cheekbones are higher, while Liliana's seem to be lower and come down and have a bit of the cheek lower here, and her face is more elongated. Caroline has a much less prominent chin, while Liliana's is a lot more definitely shaped, and their lips are very differently shaped too. When it comes to their noses, Caroline's kind of is narrower at the bridge and rounds out at the bottom, while Liliana's is quite straight and has a little button nose at the end. They both have relatively similar prominent eye bags around their sockets. Not eye bags, but you know what I mean. So let's take a look at their eyes now. Liliana's eyes do open and close when they shut, just like this. They have very similar eyelashes to American Girl, although I would say they are thinner. Overall, the appearance is very similar to American Girl. If we look at the eyelids, they are a lot more orange than the actual doll itself. And I'm not actually sure about the eyes themselves, if you took them out, what they would look like, but I do believe they would be relatively similar to American Girl eyes. Obviously, these dolls do have different coloured eyes, but I would say Caroline's eyes are maybe better quality. I think the material that the Götz doll eyes are made of could be slightly different. It may have changed over the years, I don't really know. I would definitely say the American Girl eyelashes would be thicker. Also, if we look at the eyelids, I think it's a lot more well matched to the skin tone, and we do know that they have the metal eye sockets as well. The next notable difference would be the ears. Caroline's are just quite flat, there's not too much shape to them. Liliana's are a lot more defined and definitely stick out of her head more, but I would say that the shape and size is quite similar. I think one of the main differences in quality for these dolls would be the hair. So Liliana and most of the Götz dolls, as far as I know, have rooted hair instead of a wig. Now, the quality is better than our generation hair, but I would say it is not as good as American Girl hair. It still has that slightly more not real feature to it. As for the back of the hair, Liliana does have very nice thick hair, just like a lot of the American girls. Her hair comes to around where her cloth torso ends, and she does have layered hair just like many of the American girls. You can see it is more of a caramel tone than Caroline's is, but that's not really anything to do with the companies. But definitely the feel of their hair is different, I would say. Even comparing it to Leah's hair is a lot different to Liliana. But overall, the quality of her hair is very good and is well maintained by a wig wire brush. So that is all for this comparison video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any more questions, leave them down in the comments below. I would love to answer them. And please let me know if this video was helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Bye!